Hello, it's Melinda from Scrapbooking and Craft. Just coming on today with this is a Halloween project, so it's a bit late uploading it. I actually filmed this back in October and didn't get my editing software till January, so I thought I would put it up. So the book you just saw, the sketchbook with the designer, it's actually one of my drawings. I like to part of de-stressing and part of just when I want something to do but not really something to do and get messy, I get out my sketchbook and my black pens and I will just draw in black pen as opposed to penciling the design in first. I find it makes me think a lot more and I can't make mistakes and I can't rub it out. If I have an eraser and a pencil, I will look for perfection, which just irritates me. So black pen it is to start with. If I make a mistake, I just incorporate it in the design. So this is Mr and Mrs Frankenstein. So these were inspired by a couple of stamps I saw on the internet by a company that we couldn't get here in Australia. So I sort of was inspired and sketched the designs. So I'm just basically copying out of my sketchbook, and they do turn out a little bit different, and I don't have enough room for the feet, so we really didn't think of that one real well. What I'm working in is actually my altered sewing book, or my altered needlecraft book. Courtney Diaz, little ink on YouTube, has been running a series on an altered sewing book, so it's actually, as you can see, there's text and pictures. I'm not quite happy with the book I chose. It's got a few more pictures in it than she had the sewing book version, and I've got the embroidery version. Same sort of book, same sort of paper, but I'm not happy with the book. But I will persist with it. Just means I have to cover more of the stuff up. So you can see the Happy Halloween's a bit of tissue paper, the spiders is a bit of wrapping paper, and the black and white down the bottom is a bit of duct tape or washi tape. So the idea behind this book is you add bits and pieces to the book. You don't sit there and do the scrapbook page or the art journal page from go to woe in the same sitting. She's taught us to go through, or she's different style of journaling, to go through and add a few scraps of paper, build up a bit more, add a bit more, and then go in and complete the page. So what I just showed you there was some Micador watercolours. I got those really cheap at Spotlight, and they're really nice. They're a little chalky at the end, but this is sort of my first attempt at rendering, at colouring in and sort of getting a bit of shading with some watercolours. So using a water pen, or a water pen, yes. So it does actually have water in the barrel of the pen. Sorry, just fizzing around there trying to get the book straight. What I've found is the book is quite thick. It has about an inch spine, and when you go to work on the left side of the book, and this is at the start of the book, it doesn't sit flat, it sits on an angle. So yes, you can see I put a roller tape underneath. So as I said, this is my first sort of try with the watercolours. As you can see, they're a very new set. I only just bought them in August, and this was filmed in October. Not the best paper to be doing this on. This is just, it's not gesso paper. I haven't prepared the paper in any way. It's a quite a thick paper, probably from the 1970s, and it doesn't have any shiny surface on it, so it's quite a like a matte paper. Has a slight shimmer on some of the photos, but we get around that. So just painting away, trying to put in some dark shadows and practice with that sort of stuff. Getting there. I'm still not very good at it, but any tips and hints would be muchly appreciated. So I'm trying to put in sort of darker lines where he'd be darker, and then lighter lines. I'm quite happy with how that page eventually turned out. And then I don't put green in my orange. I'm not a watercolourist, but I'm learning. Trying to teach my daughter watercolours the other day, and it was just the blind leading the blind. It was funny. I like using the water brushes because it's a continuous flow of water. The only problem is I tend to get dirty water up the barrel of the brush, and I think that's just one of the designs of the cheaper versions of brushes I bought. These come from China, so they're quite a cheap, reasonably priced version. The more expensive ones I haven't tried with, so I don't know whether the more expensive ones would not have that effect. So trying to mix several colours together and get a bit of shading and a bit of volume so they don't look like two-dimensional Frankenstein and Mrs. Frankenstein. So this paper, as I said, wasn't the best, but it held up to the watercolours quite well. What I probably would suggest if you're doing a book like this is don't pick one that's an inch thick. It's quite big and quite cumbersome to work in, and I probably wouldn't pick a book that thick again. I like the paper in it because it's not shiny and glossy, but just the size of the book, it's just very large to work in, and when you're working on not in the middle of the book, it's just hard to get the pages flat. So I really enjoyed doing this. I must get back into this book and work again. I might do a flip through of it because I've worked on some pages and not others. As it's a book that, as I said, you don't work on each complete page, it's really hard to film when I'm working in it. Maybe I'll just turn the camera on and flip through it. Usually when I have some scrap papers or some offcuts from other projects, I pull this book out and decide to just add bits and pieces to it. You can tell this was filmed in winter. I've got my jumper on. It's 30 degrees today, so I don't think I'll have a jumper on today. So trying to just get a bit more dimension, and I liked how these watercolours are a bit more opaque and it covered up a lot of that background writing and text. You can sort of see it in Frankenstein's face. Oh, there I go yawning again. It's early in the morning. I should not be yawning. Seriously. Every time I go to do a voiceover or turn a video camera on lately, I go and yawn. So you can sort of see it through Frankenstein's face with the lighter colours, but the darker colours do actually block it out. I've actually sped up this video 3 times, so this actually took me, I think, about 3 hours from go to woe. It's a good word today, go to woe. So from start to finish took about 3 hours to do all the pieces, and then I sped it up quite considerably, so you don't have to sit there and watch 3 hours. Plus, I think I was watching TV when I was doing this, so I had the TV in the background, which is not ideal. Look it up on YouTube. So basically just laying down some flat colour. I wasn't really happy with the detail I was getting, probably because I had a fat pen brush. I do have a finer one somewhere. Just can't find a lot of my stuff at the moment. It's still packed in boxes from moving 6 months ago. But we're not going to go there. My word for this year is to get organised, and I'm slowly getting organised and getting all like things with like things, and getting all my stuff together so I can find it as well. So I go off camera a bit. I'm actually colouring in. I forget I've zoomed it in so much. I'm actually colouring in the stars that I hand drew and the moon around the edge. I know I don't say it a lot in my videos, but I do appreciate all your comments. And definitely if you like my videos, give them a like. It does help with YouTube apparently. If you get lots of likes and lots of comments, they do promote your videos a bit more. Welcome to all my new subbies that have come on board in the last few days as well, few weeks. Not quite sure when this video is going to go posted up, but we've had a surge in subbies in the last week and a half, which is just wonderful. Alexis loves to see the numbers tick over. So it's a bit harder to paint over the tissue paper and the wrapping paper, because I actually use Mod Podge to affix it to the page, but it's going on fairly okay. I just had to do a couple of layers. So I let that all dry, and then I come back in a minute. There we go, boom. What I decided to do was I decided to black out the entire background, and I thought you didn't want to watch me. It took about half an hour, so I thought you wouldn't want to watch me do that. So basically that was just the black watercolour paints. Sorry for my hand. Black watercolour paint, and just filled in all the background. I wanted to leave the wrapping paper with the spiders and a bit of the Happy Halloween showing through, so mainly blacked out behind where they were. So what I showed you before really quickly, and I must slow down when I do that because I forget when I speed up the video that I show it very quickly, is actually a set of 72 watercolour pencils I got from China 4 years ago, and they're still going strong. I can list the brand down below. I'm not sure whether you can get them now. but they're really nice, they're really smooth watercolours, and I'm just taking the watercolour pencils and going in and putting some more detail in. I go yawning again, seriously. So I find I like doing this, the wash of watercolour paint underneath and then filling in with the pencils and just giving a bit more definition. Sometimes I activate the pencils with the watercolour. As they are watercolour pencils, you can go and activate them with water and make them more into a paint. But I don't think, as I did this quite a while ago, I can't remember if I did that or not, or just left it. I might have activated it and then gone back and put some more on. So I'm just showing you a pen. I just go in and redo the facial features that have been lost with the watercolour, putting them over the top. So that's a permanent Sharpie marker, so that doesn't actually get water reactive. I'm going to give up doing voiceovers because all I seem to do is yawn. If you've sat through this long, congratulations. You've watched me draw Frankenstein and Mrs Frankenstein, and they're sort of holding hands. I've got crossed arms, which is cute. Oh, excuse a siren in the background. That's the second one I've heard in a few minutes. Must be something going on down the road. So trying to get some shadowing there. You can see on Frankenstein's face, I'm trying to shadow it from the right hand side to make him look a bit more round, not just a 2D figure. And just fixing up a bit of, that's my little tiny black pencil. It's the only little black pen, the only pencil that's got that really short, because Alexis and I use that to the death. So just fixing up where my painting wasn't exact around the shapes, giving the moon and stars a bit more of a look. I'll decide to move my book around. So just trying to give the stars some shadowing as well. Still learning with all the shadowing and sort of things that I want to learn into the book. Learn as I go along in my book, I should say. So going over Frankenstein again. I did a lot of art when I was at school, so I know that I understand the basics of shadowing and where your light source comes from and all that sort of stuff, but it's been a long time since I've been at school. So practicing doing that as well. And knowing it and being able to do it are two different things. So I just wanted to make the figures look a bit more dimensional than flat people on the page. I think I've said that a few times. So I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I much prefer to draw the stylized cartoon type. And I made a big blob there, so I'm getting my finger and trying to get it off, and I'm going to decide to do some more pencil and add a bit more shading. So I prefer to draw the stylized sort of cartoon type people than like realistic things. I can certainly draw realistic things as well, but it's just not where my heart lies at the moment. I much prefer to do this sort of cartoony version. So just adding more detail to her hair. Trying to add some white highlights with a white pen. I should have found my white gel pen, but I couldn't find it that night. So we went in with the white watercolour pen. Watercolour pencil. Seriously, yawning. Really? So about coming to the end now. If you'd like to see a flip through of this album, I have got it on my planned video list. Some pages have only got a few scraps on it, some pages are completed. So let me know. And I will link down below to Courtney Diaz's The Little Ink channel, where you can find more information on how to start your altered book, because you do need to remove some pages, and different things that she's just interesting techniques she's decided to share with us as well. So just giving you a bit of a close-up look. So I'm happy with that page. Bye for now.